and I've gotten to like it. God, it makes me sound bad, but I've gotten to like it. I wouldn't go back. I'll put it that way. I wouldn't. It's like once you've had heated leather seats in a car, you're ruined for life because you will always have heated leather seats in your car. Okay, so I'm at the Bao Cafe in Bangkok. Sunday morning, a little bit after 6 a.m. They open at 6. I checked. They were really nice. They shut the music off so I can record. I used SoundHound and checked it. And there's, even if I made it quiet, the video could pick it up, and then I'd have copyright problems. So, which I don't understand all that, but whatever. I'd like to talk about being rich in retirement. I probably can have a lot of fun with the title and that and how I word it. I try to make them catchy and fun and make fun of things, but never make it clickbait. The most important part of that is defining for yourself what rich is, and I think most of us, and I used to, go to immediately start calculating an amount of money that will never be the correct amount. I've never heard of anyone calculating the correct amount, achieving it, and saying, "Yeah, that was great. I'm rich and I'm happy." I've never heard that story even. Best definition of rich I got, which was fantastic, and it was really helpful to me. And I think of this definition. I can't say frequently, but it comes to mind from time to time on a regular basis. And that was, my daughter is quite bright. Really exceptional, and she's a dentist. But point is, she had a lot of really good, smart friends around her a lot. And one of them one time said they were all at this dinner, and a friend turns to my daughter and she says, "I want to be guacamole rich." And my daughter goes, "What the heck, man? What the heck?" She told me the story. She goes, "Dad, this is and my daughter, her name is Sam. She goes, "Well, what the heck?" And she goes, "I want to go to a restaurant and order the guacamole and never have to worry about the $4 extra that it costs." Because she was sitting there looking at, they're all ordering, getting ready to order, and she was trying to assess whether it was worth it for her budget for the day and for the week while she was at the University of Michigan with my daughter, if it was worth it to do that. And then the funny thing is, I was listening to, I want to say it was a podcast on YouTube or something the other day, and this really wealthy guy, guy's like worth $100 million or a couple $100 million. He's like a self-help guru, and he said one of the great way to know if you're rich is if you're going to a restaurant and you don't even look at the prices. It all goes back to restaurants. Look at this. We think of food as human beings, and as far as I know, this guy doesn't know my daughter. So he says, if you can ordering whatever you want on the menu, depending on how hungry you are, what mood you're in, and you're not looking at the prices and trying to calculate, can you afford it or not? He goes, then you're rich. He goes, if you're living like that, you're already rich. And I found that also to be true. And again, my average viewer is kind of just pre-retirement or just getting really close to retirement or whatever. I think as you plan things out, you got to think about what makes you happy. And in a prior video a couple months ago, I also covered that out of all my friends, I have it's like 10% that have hit their age correctly, hit a good reasonable age, hit the age correctly, that's so subjective, but have been able to retire before massive health problems, like before their health totally failed or they died, because a lot of my friends have died before retirement. But it's like, I'm going to say it's like 10% or so. It's a tiny number. It's a tiny minority of us that retire and actually get to enjoy it. I feel blessed and lucky and fortunate now. And 4 years ago, I got the news that I was being forced to stop working, and I was out and I was done. I'm like, I don't want to be done. And the situation was like, no, you're not getting the memo. You're done. and you were done like a while back, and you just didn't know it. And I was devastated because I wanted to keep working. I did a side project with my son. I'm probably not going to put the photo up. Maybe if I find it easily enough, I might. But he snapped a shot of me standing on the top edge of a 6 foot high wall or something, and bracing my foot against I think a concrete wall or something, 3 feet away, and swinging a 12-pound sledgehammer in the air. And that's one of the dumb things I was doing right before. I mean, by that point, my back, I knew my back was broken. But I managed it with a ton of ibuprofen and a ton of weightlifting. And I'll just short thing on that. I mean, the whole COVID gym shutdown thing screwed me because I was actually successfly managing this on my own. Again, I was just under elite athlete, so it's like a super advanced weightlifter and with the gym stuff, stretching. I was super flexible, and which will save you as you get older. Obviously, we all know that, and that was lucky for me. But when the gym shut down and I couldn't do it anymore, and then when it was you were legally allowed to go back to the gym again, whatever that was all about. By then it was too late. I was unable to keep up my routine at home, and when I went to go back to try to get back in shape and get my pain down again, I was, by the time all that settled down, I was 2 years older, and in that time, the extra decay and decline from not staying up on my exercises every week was enough. I could not get back over the hump. I couldn't break through, and so I was screwed. So here I am. Point being, though, so that's my still sad story, sorry, but so point being, defining for yourself. Now here's where Thailand really has helped me because I was really dumb. I got my divorce exactly like at the same exact time as my retirement, which is terrible because it means and nothing against my old partner, my former partner, or your former partner, but if you have somebody and then you work your whole career and then you give them half of everything and then you try and retire, I'm just saying mathematically the dumbest thing. It's not nothing about the person. This is about number of years in mathematics versus a friend of mine who was in kind of a weird, though we had entirely different careers. We were sort of in a similar earning situation, and he divorced his wife 10 years prior. He's twice my wealth. He can really buy whatever he wants, But he chooses to, he's kind of a bohemian like me. He's even more bohemian than I am. He has less luxury in his life than I do, just because he just doesn't value it. So, kind of funny how we do things. But I guess if you ever see a Porsche pulling up in my driveway, I'll know who it is. Being rich in retirement. So, one, this isn't going to be on money management because that's a whole separate subject, and I am going to do a video on that because I do know a little more than the average person. Because I was good at math, I had to take over my own investments in retirement and manage it. So I got competent at that. I wouldn't say I'm great, but I got competent, and I'll share what competency I have. But for this, let's just talk about relative level of wealth and your planning, and then you can look at your numbers and do the execution that I'll teach in the other video, or I'll share. I don't know if I teach you, but I'll share what I do. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, make as much money as you can and be as happy and as little as possible is sort of the short of it. But how does that really work? I mean, if the thing is, if you wait too long so that by the time most of us wait long enough that we feel we've made enough money that, hey, now we can retire, it's too late. And I told this story before, and I'll just make it super brief. Dick Marshall, whom I'm sure has passed on by now, so I'll share his name, as he was an old man 20 years ago. But a smart guy, very well respected and all that. And I was in his office one day, and he had these little nuggets of wisdom he used to pass around. He goes, Rob, so we were working on a possible business deal. And he goes, Rob, tell me, how long does the average General Motors retiree live past retirement? And I go, Dick, I don't know. I mean, I said, he goes, well, give me a guess. And I'm like, I guess like 15 years. He goes, 3 years. And when we went back and forth on it, and he convinced me that I knew he had to be right because he was one of those guys that was careful about what he said. And there's later, if you can Google stuff, and there's big corporations that publish their actuarial data from time to time. That's what this is called, and you can see that a lot of big companies, their employees live months or a handful of years past retirement. It's not good. So I would encourage you to first think about how much you need and how long you're going to work for all that, and then say, okay, now, more than likely that's false. We're all average. We're all fit in the statistical average somewhere, okay? So then I would say that's statistically false. So then go off and back up on that and then say, well, what could you actually get by on? And then to do that, what makes you happy? What really, so I'll make an example. So for me, weightlifting, I love it. I love it. If I can, my dream here is to still get a little better so I can even do the most old man bullshit Muay Thai ever seen on this planet. I'd be over the moon if I could do that. Just to refresh and keep any of my martial arts skills I trained 10 years so hard for, to keep this as least stale as possible would put me on the moon. I would love that, okay? And then I like walking, I like sitting, I like quiet, I like reading. I enjoy texting and the occasional telephone and video chat with good friends, but I'm real choosy how I spend my time and who I share it with. I've gotten almost reclusive, really. Just having some crummy conversation with somebody who's got weird ideas or is rude or is one of those people that just was constantly waiting to take their turn to talk. And that's pretty apparent pretty quick. I'm just tired of all that. So I enjoy hanging out with fauna, and Thai women are kind of funny because they don't really converse a whole lot. Thai marriages are kind of cold by a Western standard. Hang on. I'm at the coffee shop. I am okay. Got an Apple Watch. Love it, actually. I'm not good at it, but it is helpful. It's a pain to set up because I'm getting too old for this crap. But a Thai woman, it's a colder kind of thing. They do a lot for you. They help you in many ways, and then they save face and all this and that, and they do love you. They really do love you, but it's different. Now, we talk and engage way more than most Thai couples, but it's not as much as maybe a Western couple would. And I've gotten to like it. That makes me sound bad, but I've gotten to like it. I wouldn't go back. I'll put it that way. I wouldn't. It's like once you've had heated leather seats in a car, you're ruined for life because you will always have heated leather seats in your car. And then what else can I tell you? So think about the things that if you're a golf guy, okay, that can get extremely expensive, I'm sure, but there's probably less expensive places you could play that you could probably talk yourself into enjoying if you worked at it. And that's a big part of all this. If you're going to retire and actually have 15, 20 years of every day waking up and you have an appropriate amount of money to your activity level, man, that's amazing. But this is going to take like a little bit of work, right? So it was for me, and this was hard. I mean, I'm at 4 years now going on into my fifth, from realizing I've got to retire. Oh crap, I'm in a real big trouble here. I'm not going to have enough money to. This is the richest I've felt in my entire life, and as an inventor, sometimes you sell your invention, you sell patents, you sell rights. You get these occasional years where you make I'll tell you, I've had a couple of my big years. I've made well over $500,000. So, and I was never I was as dumb as anybody, but I was never a total dummy where I went and bought a Ferrari or something. I mean, I still have some of that money. So, but it doesn't really, but it doesn't make you happy. I tried buying my happiness by collecting Swiss watches, and those are pretty dumb. That was one of the dumber things I did. Stuff like that, and it never really made me happy. So it turned out, going back to the activity, the whole concept of life as a journey, not a destination. That sounds like such a trite thing. It's like a greeting card. But if you look at your life as this journey, this process, this every day, enjoying every day, living in the moment. Look up living in the moment. That can make you actually really happy. In fact, without that, I'm not sure you can be happy. I'll tell you. Look up things like that, and then again go backwards to your activities. What it is you like. Finding a way in your head to justify cheap golf as being a lot of fun, because you realize you're not having this big snooty country club experience. People looking down on you that you're only making a mere 150 grand a year in your retirement, which would be a massive retirement, and I don't know anybody that has that. And because other guys are making $400,000 a year, you're never going to be happy. And again, here in Thailand, there's no Joneses to keep up with, unless you live in Bangkok. And then there's plenty, or Phuket or something. But find something away from all that. The culture isn't as good. I'll just flat out tell you, the culture's not as good. The ladies that culture produces, when you ultimately look for a partner to care for you and share your time and be a partner, friend, companion, and partial caregiver to you. Because when you're in your 60s, you're going to need a caregiver. I don't know who you are. You're going to get help. My brain gets fuzzy trying to do certain things, and it's just too much for me anymore and fun. She's 20 years younger than me. She just digs right in. Last night when my back gave out and we were walking the long, dreadful walk back to the hotel, we were all exhausted, me, her, and her one boy. She carried my bags as my back had given out. My back had totally given out. Yeah, the surgery's been a success, but it still comes with rules, and I'd broken the rules in doing this really arduous travel to Bangkok. This was my first trip to Bangkok that I honestly didn't enjoy. I had a lot to do. I got it all done. It was successful, but it was too stressful. And I want to go back. And I'm gonna as soon as I get back home, all I want to do is lay in my bed and rest and read, and I'm done. I'm totally wiped. But I wanted to make this video and just show a different background. And coming to Bangkok and not at least shooting one YouTube video just seemed like a waste. But so back on point here. So if you can then take and work backwards and take your activities that you like, and then figure out ways to make those not expensive, and then figure out your health as best you can estimate. You never know what you're going to get, and then no, you don't want to go too early, because the guys that retire and then don't have enough, and then they have to unretire. And I've known a handful of those guys, and they're fairly unhappy. So that's tough. It really helps a ton if you can get a pension. If you can get any pension, like once you're 63 and a half, you can get regular, or 62 and a half, you can get regular Social Security. I would say, and if you look at the actuarial table as you do the arithmetic, my old mentor, Dick, who is a math genius, went through the actuarial tables on the Social Security website when he was making his decision, and he goes, Rob, they did the math I did. He goes, I can tell you, they figured out the exact same thing I figured out, and he's really smart. So they looked at this, and it makes no difference mathematically whether you take it younger or older. It's all a head game. So just take it. So 62 and a half, take your retirement. You're not going to be ahead. You have to live to like 82 years old or something to get ahead by waiting. And then you're only ahead after you're 82. Well, what do you care? You live your life. So take it. That gets you a basis. And then maybe there's some part-time work that you'd like to do that you actually enjoy, or a hobby you can make a little money on. And then, or any savings or investments you have. And I'll do a video on that, but you get the idea. My point is, you might find yourself living on $2,000 or $3,000 US per month, maybe less, maybe half that, maybe more, maybe twice that. But I think that's a good kind of median, a good middle point. And if you're living on that amount of money, you can, like overseas here in Thailand. I mean, here in the suburbs of Korat, I'm trying to pronounce it with the R more. The city pronunciation, not the village where I come from. I tend to copy the tonality of all the people around me. Have it, obviously, but I'm trying to, it just sounds better. Anyways, rent starts at $60 a month for like a livable little room. And you could rent two and have one as your bedroom and one as your living room. I mean, what do you care? I rented a beautiful condo in the suburbs of Korat for $75 a month, and it was almost too big. It was a fixer. I had to put money in it to clean it up and fix it up. The landlord loved me. But, I mean, when it was done, I think I paid 10,000 baht, so $300, and I had it all redone for $300. cleaned and painted fancy is all redone, but still, and the floor painted, everything. I mean, it's beautiful, and the marble floor, the terrazzo floor in the front, all polished. I mean, it was lovely. Um, and that would have been a babe magnet if you're a single guy. I mean, my friend was who was a neighbor 5 doors down was joking, Rob, I'm going to sell tickets when you're out there with your shirt off lifting weights. I'm gonna charge admission for the women to come and flirt with you. You know, I mean, and it did have that effect. Let me tell you. Even before I moved in, I had a couple of hangarounds. One wealthy local business, not younger than me, but wealthy local businessman kept bringing his daughter around, and Fawn broke his heart. He didn't like Fawn, but so I mean, and none of this is expensive. So you can do this cheap. It's just a matter of it's all a matter of perception, and it's your perception, and you're in control. You can change it, and you can make. I'm telling you, you can live like such a big shot to yourself. I think so happy to yourself by building your retirement, even if it's cheap, who cares, around all the things that you like. And if you're a big going to the pub guy, I mean, within limits, that's okay. I recently told a story of that guy that literally drank a full bottle of Leo in front of him throughout the entire day. I've been back to that restaurant twice. He was there on the same bar stool both days. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say he does that every day, all day. I don't think that's a good idea. And he doesn't look good. He's younger than me, and he could be my dad. He does not look good. That's not healthy. And I talked enough about that, but within limits, you could be not too far from a pub and do your workouts to know you're paying for the the 2 beers or 3 beers you're going to have at lunch or something. You could work it. You don't have to be a quiet reader like me, but a lot of people travel a lot, and you could do. And travel here is cheap. Tour on a motorcycle, get your own car, tour on a bus. Even the plane travel within the country is quite cheap. You could be the big jet setter within Thailand and Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam and jet around in this little area here, and you'll never go to the same place twice in probably 5 years if you're a big travel guy. You end up with a girlfriend in every city is going to be your problem. But I would encourage you, if you're in your mid 50s or 50 or something, whatever, to really, if you can, start planning this and looking at this realistically, because just by looking at 2020 hindsight, I can tell you, apparently most of us get this wrong. Most of us get steamrolled by this and get crushed. We work our whole lives, make everybody else's dreams happy, support everybody else our whole lives, and then it's all done, and we get killed. And that isn't very fair or very fun for you. So I would say take a look at that. And I'm going to get out of here because now they got like 4 customers. Bonus footage time.
This is the beautiful Icon Siam Mall in Bangkok, right on the river. Incredibly beautiful mall. It's just ridiculously big. I had to turn the volume off, but they had some very nice, pleasant music playing in the background, and I'll just get a copyright strike on that. Not that I have anything against Sade. She's a beautiful voice, but I'm sure whoever owns her music will shut my video down. I'd rather not do that.
Inside a mall, if you can believe it. And this is like the small room. I'm not kidding. This is the small room. This will put Somerset to shame. They sell Ferraris and Lamborghinis inside the mall. It's nuts. Here's a few casual snapshots. Here's me and Fawn, a little romantic pose there. And then these next ones are water fountain and light and laser show along the river there in Bangkok. Absolutely stunning. There's river dinner cruises there. Always a great time. Extremely pretty, neat and clean and safe. Obviously, I highly recommend for a weekend. taking a cab over to Icon Siam Mall, which is a giant, gorgeous mall in Bangkok. There we are. About problem solving, retired overseas, meeting a friend for tacos, tequila, and smokes at 2 o'clock. It's only 11:30, and I'm hungry. So solution, waffle dog. Which here in Bangkok they're 25 baht, so like, I don't know, 80 cents or 25, 75 cents or something, I don't know. In Korat, trying to pronounce the R. I copy the tone of the locals, so I tend to say Korat, but it's really Korat. I think they're 10 cents, but you know, whatever. Nothing to see here, just some random dude walking to his doctor after 7 months, I think it's been. Gonna get a final clearance from Dr. Wisharn on the old spine. Or I guess that's the new spine. It's only 1 kilometer from my hotel, so getting a nice morning walk. It's beautiful. And later today we're getting some quality Mexican food. It's amazing how this phone makes it look so bright out. It's dusk, but I'll do a short walking video. I'm just leaving Fawn's aunt's house, who gave us the property. You can, well, yeah, you can. You can just see the house we're building right back there. She gave us the land. We'll be neighbors, and which is fine by me. Personally, I'm happy to invite her over every morning for coffee. She's extremely polite and kind and considerate. Funny, I like people like that in my old age. I just got back from the Bangkok weekend here a few hours ago. It's been a pleasant afternoon. Oh, there's Ken. He's Mr. Happy. I got him a really expensive Vietnamese kite. Okay, look at him. He likes to play, and I enjoy playing with him. And you know, there's a point, and I add value. You know, and Arnold Schwarzenegger has a book out. I think I haven't read it. I'm not going to. You know, about being useful, and there's something to that. You know, I agree with that, and you know, I don't want to be just a taker, you know, my whole life. So, but I missed 2 things. I've been gone for 2 days in Bangkok. I miss my cappuccino machine and my Harley Davidson, and tomorrow morning I'm going to fix both those. But this is Fawn's family street. Every house on the street is her family. Woe to the person that were to do harm to somebody on this street. You'd be, if 50 machetes come in your way in about 2 seconds. It's just how they do it in the village. The security's excellent. Very little theft. There is a theft ring working somewhere in the general area, which is super rare for Thailand. Everyone's freaked out. It's incredibly rare. And it does remind me, I want to put some barbed wire on the back of my wall, because it is climbable, and that's not smart. But generally, you do the general precautions, and you're fine. And I am going to, you'll see it when I do the walkthrough, I'm going to weld a safe into my bedroom. And nothing crazy, small, a couple $100. But just to throw jewelry and some important papers in there and stuff. Just, you know, general precautions you'd do anywhere. Thank you for watching my YouTube video. If you've watched this far, please consider hitting like and subscribe.